I want to talk about some changes which is going to happen in the future. I mean, let's forecast 2050. What would happen in the future in that year specifically? You know, these days, some people and some scientists are trying to prognosticate or let's say forecast something in the future, especially in the year of 2050. And the most problematic point is that the population is going to grow substantially, and it is forecasted the population is going to be about 9 billion people, which is somehow terrible or terrifying. And we need to have
Forecast.
some new version of innovation or something, some changes in our
Forecast.
lifestyle, and and the most important point is that the sources of energy is going to be finished in the future if we try to continue this trend. I mean, the usages of fuels, the usages of sources of waters, and so on. So we need to adapt ourselves with the new lifestyle and some new methods and procedures. So if the population is going to be about 9 billion, so as a matter of fact, or as a result, the number of cars and automobiles and some vehicles would be higher and higher, and that would be terrible because we need new sources of energy. We cannot actually count on fossil fuels in the future because, as you know, fossil fuels have a lot of devastating effects. For example, global warming, carbon dioxide, and some emissions are which are really injurious to the public health and totally the earth. So we need to do something about it. As a suggestion, some scientists think that it's a good idea to find new sources of energy. We cannot count on fossil fuels. And for example, these days currently in Brazil, 40% of energy is produced with the help of ethanol, which is manufactured, or let's say it is produced or made with the help of sugarcane. And if you search on Google, you can find some cars and some automobiles which can work with ethanol as a fuel. So these sorts of fuels do not make, or let's say do not generate lots of carbon dioxide, which is really devastating to the air. And also, the same story is happening right now in the U.S. with the help of corn, and and also Shell is one of the well-known companies which is investing in this field because it's really important, especially in the future. And some scientists in some universities have found that it's so practical to combine yeast and glucose, and as a result, actually fuel uh, would be bring up, or let's say comes up. And 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 also it's a good idea to use some plants because we need to get some glucose in this method, and it's a good idea to use some glucose which could be get or extracted from some plants which are not eatable. Another procedure or method is the usage of artificial photosynthesis, and that's really practical. And because we need to do something instead of fossil fuels in the future. But these substitutions cannot be done, or these experiments cannot be practical, and we cannot put them into action overnight. And it needs time. It takes time, and we have a long run to go, and it is in its embryo.
Overnight.
And also another factor or another thing that we need to think about, especially in the future, is about efficient driving. These days a lot of people are wasting their time in traffic congestion and in different and various countries in all over the world, and we need to do something about it because it's a waste of time, it's a waste of energy and fuel and also emotion
Congested.
because family do not have enough time to get together, and it could have some negative effects on actually family units. So if some scientists and some factories are thinking about inventing some intelligent maps. I mean, for example, when a driver is driving in the street, it's a good idea to guide him or guide her to choose the best way, for curtailing the amount of the volume of traffic. It's really important get to know that which way is the best for you when you're trying to get your destination. And also trying to manufacture some cars and some trucks and some vehicles without drivers is another option that some scientists, especially a Scania company, which is a Swedish company, is thinking about. And because in doing so, the amount of the volume of traffic would be lower and lower. And also, there are some other factors. Let's say you can call it efficient usages of fuels. For example, the aerodynamics of vehicles and automobiles is another important factor which could be really influential in terms of the usage, or let's say the amount of fuel which is going to be used or consumed. And also the justifying the pressure of air in wheels, it could be another factor for controlling the amounts of the usages of fuel. And also uh, maybe we need to do something about the shape of roads. We need to change some infrastructure and change the actually establishing or making constructing new roads with a new version of style or something like this. And some scientists think about putting all of the roads and streets streets underneath, I mean under the ground. And also developing the usages of wind power and also solar energy is another substantial factors, by developing solar panels and wind turbines in different regions of the world. And these points could happen maybe in the future for getting the best out of the situation. Thank you so much.